Well, hello, YouTubers. Welcome back to Shane's Can of Worms. Gonna do some more work on the 34 Chev today. The task I'd like to try to accomplish today is installing the gas pedal. So I'll show you what I'm up to. So I'll explain a little bit what I'm up to here. Originally, this car had plywood floors, and there was no tunnel here before. Being that I put in a C5 Corvette chassis, drivetrain and chassis in here, there's a torque tube that goes through this section here. So it's about a 5-inch diameter pipe that goes from the bell housing off the motor and goes back towards the transmission. So I had to build this tunnel cover here. Really making it difficult to get lots of foot pedal space here. So I am very limited where I can put my foot pedals. So I did put in some Wilwood brake and clutch pedals in here. I bought these swap meet in Portland a few years ago. So pretty limited where I could put those. So I pretty much put them on, balanced them on each side of the steering column. Steering column, I really could not move that based on how much room I had to play with here. So as you can see, it just tucks in behind the headers here. I had to build these headers from scratch. I tell you, that was a very tough job. I've never built headers before, and hope I never have to again. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with the way they turned out, but that was a challenge for sure. So originally I had bought this gas pedal, bought it at a swap meet in Portland as well. It's brand new. There was a supplier there. I really like the size of it. The problem is it would have to go about here, and you got this lever up there that sticks way out. Really wasn't crazy about that once you tie the linkage onto it, and it just didn't seem like a good fit. I like the size of the pedal though. So I ended up finding this pedal on eBay. I think it'll work a little bit better for my purposes. It's more for an angle mount floor. The thing I don't like about it is the size of it. It's kind of a big, ugly foot pedal. Maybe I can do something different with that later. Maybe I can make it smaller, or find something else that will attach to it that's a little bit smaller. But so what I'll have to do here is I'll have to cut a hole in the floor over here somewhere so that this linkage will fit through, and it's going to go up and down. So it's going to have some travel. So the hole is going to have to be slotted and large enough. What I did do, I sat in the seat of the car here, and I kind of traced out where my foot would end up. So I just put a mark there to kind of give me an idea of where my toes would be in relation to where I need to place the pedal. So I'll start off by drilling a hole through here somewhere to fit this piece of linkage in, and have to be careful what's on the other side, obviously. And I'll start with a small hole just large enough to fit this through. Then I can either go up or down a little bit, or side to side, trying not to go outside the parameters of this square feature here. So what I ended up doing was I put my foot pedal here about an inch or so off the bottom of the floor, and kind of put a bit of an angle on it there to kind of line it up with the floor, as you can see there. And that's about where the linkage went through. So then I just took a marker and scribed a mark around where I thought it would go through the floor. I'll try to keep that just big enough that I can just get the linkage in. So then I can push this up against the floor. And then if I have to go up or down a little bit, I can. Side to side, I still can, without making the hole too big. And then I can make the final cut for the hole after that. So just drilled a little bit in here. When I press on the lever, on the foot pedal, it's going to go down. So I don't think I want to drill up anymore or cut anymore up this way, but I'll want to come down this way because it seems to be kind of bringing it higher than I thought it would. So I'll notch out a little bit here with the die grinder. So that fits pretty well, about an inch off the floor. So when I go to press on the accelerator, it's going to want to push this lever down, so I'm going to have to cut further down here. So I've notched out a hole there, about an inch and a bit by about 5/8 of an inch wide, using the die grinder and zip cut. So now I can fit the linkage piece in there. So like I said, I want this about an inch off the floor, and I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm gonna have to see, I might have to bring it over to the left a little bit. But I'll play around with it here a little bit and see how it looks. But other than that, I think we're pretty close. So I finished cutting out the hole. I did end up coming over about another 1/8 of an inch to the left here. I took a slicer with a zip cut and then kind of cleaned everything out as best I could with the die grinder, and finished off with some fine files. My little belt grinder wouldn't quite fit in there. It's about an 1/8 of an inch too wide, but I really don't want to cut that hole any bigger if I don't have to. I want lots of material there because I still got 4 screws to drill in. Drilling some pilot holes through here for the screws for the mounting plate. So I put it back on and put in a couple starter screw holes. So I'll do the ones on the left first, and then I'll have to figure out how to mark the other ones, being that it's kind of tight to the tunnel here. We'll see if the drill will fit in there even. So I drilled a hole through the floor pan, put one bolt through in the top upper left-hand corner, and leveled the car off. And then I thought, well, I better level off the foot pedal because that's going to look silly if that's not square. Then I went to mark out the other hole directly below the one I drilled, and I got looking at it, and I thought, that doesn't look quite right when it's right level. So it was kind of like that. So that doesn't look quite right. So since this is kind of like shaped like a parallelogram, I figured the top and bottom should be level instead. So kind of a small surface to put a level on, but I thought if I just kind of line it up with the tunnel over there and the edge of the floor pan piece here, that should look about right. So I think that's pretty close. So I'm going to mark this bottom hole down here and drill that, and then I'll put a couple bolts in, and then I'll mark the 2 inside holes to drill. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled. I was able to drill the holes no problem beside the tunnel. There was lots of room to get my drill in there, and I got the bolts through. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. You will need a small Torx on a little ratchet like this to get in here, because these very tight clearances here, and down here as well. So that's a little tricky to get at, but other than that, I think it's gonna work out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way it lined up, and of course, once I get the linkage up there and some springs on it and stuff, then that'll be positioned properly. And yeah, it looks pretty good from that side. This is what it looks like from underneath. I used some weld-through primer on the back of this firewall. That's why you got all the white soot on there. That'll all get cleaned up, of course, when I take the cab back off. But yeah, everything seems to be working pretty good there. Sorry about the focus. See if I can get that a little better. But yeah, I just put some spacer nuts in there so I didn't have to tighten the screws all the way up, because that's going to be coming off. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So that pretty much sums it up for the gas pedal. Like I said, it turned out pretty decent, I think. Installation was pretty easy. Yeah, the only kind of tough part was putting the screws in. But like I said, it's kind of a 2-person job to put the screws in. You need somebody with the ratchet on the bottom and a little ratchet on top with the Torx. But other than that, worked pretty well. Probably the next thing to work on here on the car, I haven't decided yet, but go back to work on the fenders, start straightening them out a little bit and welding them up. A couple of people asked me what's up with the pool noodles. Got these door hinges that I built that I just kept whacking my head on, or my shoulder, and pool noodles work out pretty good. I just cut one in half, and it saves a lot of head injuries and shoulder injuries. I just like to work with it with the door off. It's a lot simpler than when you're kind of confined for space, and just kind of the door gets in the way when you're in and out, taking the seats in and out several times. So yeah, I'll probably start working on the fenders, or maybe start on some of the plumbing for my fuel tank. I might do that, actually, start putting the plumbing together for the fuel tank, for the fuel cell. So I'll have to pull the sheet metal off of here and put my vent on, and then start the main feeder line going to the engine. So that pretty much sums it up for the gas pedal installation. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button. I think I'm going to keep making these videos for the remainder of the build for this car. I get a lot of inspiration from watching a lot of YouTube videos. Really get a lot from Carl Fisher over at Make It Custom. He's got a great YouTube channel. Half-Ass Customs is another real great one. And then, yeah, just random things. There's quite often I've been looking for stuff for the 34 Chev, and there's not a lot of build information out there on the internet for 34 Chevs. Not a real popular car to rebuild compared to like a 34 Ford, which is all steel, and there's still a lot of them out there. But the Chevs were all wood inside, so a lot of them got rotten and collapsed. But hopefully this will be a little bit of inspiration for somebody else that, who knows, maybe they got one in the shop that they want to work on. So anyways, thanks for watching. Bye for now.